guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm sorry, Cooper's here just upset that I'm sitting in here and not out on the couch. But I've had kind of a weird week. I'm filming this on Wednesday. You guys will see this Thursday and beyond. My reading I don't want to say that I've been in a slump, and yet I have been staring at the books that I had all around me, the ones I've started, the ones I thought I was going to read next, all around me, and I just don't want to pick up any of them. And I kind of wanted to just talk that out and see what you guys do when you're feeling like it's a slump is coming on, but it's just, I didn't want to read on Saturday and Sunday anywhere near as much as I had time for it. I did read quite a bit Monday, because I had to finish a graphic novel, The Sandman, Volume 2. I had to get that done, book 2. I guess I'd turn it back into the library, but really I didn't read very many books, and my audiobook just wasn't doing it for me. And the more I thought about it, I didn't think I wanted to listen to it anymore. And then I have a couple books that I'm partway through that I just don't feel like reading. And there's a big classic I should read and I don't want to. So, I think sometimes it's good to, I almost was to the point where I was just going to not read for a couple of days, and maybe that would help. And I almost did that, except that I kept wanting to read. I kept touching the books and I kept wanting to read, but I didn't want to read those books. And so, Tuesday night, so I finished a book, and I think it kind of made me look at another way of when I feel like I'm going into a reading slump or things aren't working out, that what I need to do is really just look at, maybe I've been reading too much of the same genre and I need to kind of switch it up. So on Tuesday, I finished Off the Map by Alistair Bonnet. So this is one of my map books. I have quite a few of these that talk about different things about the world and different areas of the world that are different or abandoned or hard to get to or stuff. And I really enjoy books like this. I just read one every once in a while, but this is one of the ones I had on my list of one of 6 nonfiction books I wanted to read in 2013. So on the weekend, I kind of looked over at my shelf and I was like, well, I don't feel like anything that's over there. And then I remembered that June was coming to an end, and I wasn't as far on a lot of the lists that I made of books that I want to read this year. And although I didn't want to pick up, there's a lot of books I didn't want to pick up, I decided, go with the nonfiction. I thought, well, I haven't read one of the, read a map book in over a year. And I thought, well, we'll get to that. And I'm really glad I did, because I did enjoy this, and I'll talk more about this on my wrap up. But when I got done on Tuesday, and I was like, okay, I finished that book. And then I got home from work, and I just decided I wasn't going to read one audiobook. I tried another one on the way home, and I didn't like that one. And I was like, okay, this isn't going well. I tried to read, again, the books that I'm in the middle of. That didn't work. I read a couple pages. I read 20 pages in one of them, and I didn't pick up the other. I didn't want to pick up the other one. And I definitely didn't want to, Les Mis just is not happening. Anyway, we'll see. At some point I'll get back to that. It just might not be this year. I don't know. Anyway, so I had all these books, and then I had all of these other fantasy, different kinds of fantasy. Some were just regular fantasies, or, I was looking at reading Jade City. I've been wanting to read that for months, and I just keep trying, and I never feel like it, or I don't want to pick it up. And then I had a couple of fantasy romances I wanted to pick up. Didn't feel like picking those up, and I just kept staring at them all, and I didn't know what to do. And it really took most of the night while watching BookTube, when I was again staring at my shelves. Not these shelves. These are my big ones, but I have 2 shelves that are right next to my where I sit on the couch, and they're mostly my high TBR shelves. Are the ones that are the books that I should be reading, or I think I should be reading. And I was looking at them, and I realized that, I had such good luck with the nonfiction. I should pick up another nonfiction. So I did, and that did kind of help, because I did pick up The Social Lives of Books by Abigail Williams. reading together in an 18th century home. So I have been saving this for July because this is going to be my nonfiction in Jane Austen July. Because she was alive for 25 years of the 18th century. And also because in some of her, things about Jane Austen, you hear about them reading out loud to each other, I think I've read that. So anyway, I only read the prologue to this last night, or the introduction. And this is pretty academic. This is put out by the Yale University Press. So it was a little hard. It was a little harder for me to get this. And then I don't remember where I saw it or why I got it. I've had it for a couple of years. And I put it on my list because I want to make sure I read this, because there is no audiobook. This is going to be a slow read. I'm not expecting to read this. Like, if I get this done by the end of July, I'll be surprised. But I wanted to read it. And I do feel like I'm going to read a little bit of this every night just to kind of get to it. And I want to learn stuff. And I think that's where my mind has gone, is that I've been reading a lot of stuff for fun. And my mood has let me do that. And I've read some really great series this year. Again, most of my stuff is some kind of paranormal or romance or fantasy, have some sort of element that I really enjoy. But, oh gosh, now of course my throat's goes, sorry. But my nonfiction has dropped off a lot. I've not given it any time, and I think I've missed it. And I think as a mood reader, I don't always take that into account. I like to insert it every once in a while, but if I don't think about it, sometimes I forget. So I picked this book up that I'm going to read a little bit everywhere, a little bit. So you'll see that again, probably for weeks. But another book that I picked up a little bit later in the evening, because after I read the introduction, I wasn't going to read any more of that. And then I was looking again at my shelf going, well, what else can I feel like I should read that's not something I've been reading? And this is a book on writing, and it's Write It All Down, How to Put Your Life on the Page by Kathy Renzenbrink. And I pre-ordered this book. I saw it last year online somewhere, and that came out in paperback in January. So I've been meaning to read it, and it's mostly talking about how to, a practical guide to writing stuff down for like a memoir or something. But I'm not looking to write a memoir. I'm just trying to get myself back into writing a little bit more. I used to be so prolific. I used to write a lot and all the time. And I did just buy a new computer, so hopefully that'll help too. But mostly it's just I need to sit down and take some time. So this is a book that it's going to be kind of, it's still, she talks about stuff, but it's more of how to explore different parts of what you know and what you want to, and then write it down and stuff. So I just want to get kind of the habit. So I want to read this. So again, this is another book I don't think I'm going to read really fast, but I've started it. I'm probably going to read it a little bit at a time. And so I feel like those are different books, but they're not ones I'm going to read like straight. And then right before bed, I made two decisions. One of them, again, I was looking at my shelves going, well, what's different that I don't want to read, that I haven't been reading right now? And I decided to finally do one of the modern classics that I have that are on the list of classics that I want to read this year. I do have another classic I almost picked up, but it's for Jane Austen July. So again, that's coming, but I thought I'd read this first. And this is Asha, The Return of She by H. Rider Haggard. So this is book 2 in the She series. There are 4 books. I have them all. I just haven't continued on. I loved She. It was so good. Action adventure from 1885. I think it's about that. And this was actually written or published in 1905. So it's like 20 years later and things that have happened. And it's really interesting what he did with the characters so far. Again, I'm about 75 pages in. So this is going pretty well, but it reads so much differently from the books I've been reading, because this is definitely action adventure, and there is, it's just different because it's also, it is still a sequel. Again, it's part of my series stuff that I want to read, but it's just, it's different. And I don't know, it's because it's older, or it's written differently, but maybe it's because it's guys, it's written by a man. I don't know. There's something about this that I just needed something different, and I'm really enjoying getting to this. So this again is on one of my lists, so I do want to read this, and it's definitely a series I do want to continue. So I just feel good that I changed that up. And then I also started another audiobook, because as I said, the other ones weren't working, and I started Mythos by Stephen Fry. I have I got it on some sale on Audible quite a while ago. And I think I have Heroes and Troy also. So I think I have three of the books, the three books that are out, I have on audio because I just love his narration of books. Again, I loved his Sherlock Holmes. So I picked this one. There was other nonfiction I could have picked that was on audio. I did think about that because I have so many books that I have physical copies and audiobooks, but I thought this was kind of fun. So this is the Greek myths reimagined. So it's not nonfiction, it's mythology. So it's something, again, a little different. It's a little different, but it's working. I really enjoyed listening to this today, and I didn't listen to a lot. I just listened to it to and from work and at my lunch. That was the only time I really listened to it. But I guess even though I talk so much on this video, and I just wanted to put this by itself because, on Sunday, I don't want to take the time to talk about this, but really, as a mood reader, I think it's really interesting that sometimes, you think your mood read means you'll pick up whatever you feel like reading at that time. And sometimes you just don't know what that is what you feel like. And again, I get in ruts too, like everybody else, where I read so much of so many things, and I've read so much of certain series and some other things, which I really enjoyed while I was reading it. But then I was like, I got done and I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't know where to go from there because I didn't want to read the same kind of thing, and I wanted to read something else, but I wasn't sure what the stuff I had started I really didn't want to read. And I don't know if some of this stuff I'm going to ever finish. I've kind of come to the conclusion that at the end of June, I might just shelf everything or take them off. Currently reading Softy enough, everything that I'm not getting done, because I want to get back to where my currently reading is what I'm currently reading, and not all these books that I start and then don't get to, because I have a real tendency to start a lot of books at the same time when I don't know what I want to read. Most of the time I will then pick and choose those ones and then read them until they're all gone. But I always get to a point where there's a couple books that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, and I don't want to read, and I'm not sure what to do with. So this video was kind of rambly, and I'm sorry, it doesn't probably make any sense. But I guess I'm looking to see what other people who are mood readers, who, again, I do have a few things that I schedule throughout the year, but really I only a few buddy reads a year, so I don't have more than a couple weeks where I have to read something. Other time it's more just whatever I feel like. And I mean, I follow readathons and stuff like that, but they have to be pretty long readathons usually for me to get anything done, because again, I go off of mood. So I guess I'm just looking to see if you guys have found that too, where sometimes it's not that you don't want to read, it's really just that you need to change the genre of what you're reading. And maybe, again, I have to remember, I'm pretty eclectic with a lot of the books I have, and I do pick up other things, and sometimes I just forget that there's full genres that I could pick up that I just don't as much. And I need to pick up more nonfiction, I think, for the second half of the year. I think that's going to be one of my goals. So anyway, that's kind of it. This is kind of crooked. Sorry, it's kind of broken. Sorry. I just realized it was slipping, and I don't think it's going to work. Anyway, that's fine. I'm done. Anyway, and he said, this is just a chatty video on my reading, because I didn't want to do this on Sunday. So I thought I'd just do it after work. Maybe it wasn't a good idea. Anyway, so let me know if you guys are mood readers, how you handle when nothing sounds right. Like you've started books and you just don't want to read them. And what do you do? I mean, maybe I should have taken a break, but I mean, I did read The Sandman to kind of break it up, because I had to get that done. But that was, again, my own fault for leaving it till the last minute, and I had to return it. Anyway, so beyond that, I think that's it. So again, if you aren't a mood reader and you don't have those kind of problems, then I guess, do you schedule other genres just to make sure that you are switching it up? Because I mean, I'm not good about scheduling myself. Don't get me wrong. I love to schedule. I'm a scheduler, but I don't schedule my reading very well. Like, it just doesn't work. TBR is as close as it gets, and even then it's pretty loose. Anyway, I think I've rambled enough. Sorry, this was a lot more disjointed than I thought it would be, but I just want to talk it through and say that I made some choices this week, and it wasn't what I expected. So everything I said on Sunday, what I thought I was going to read, didn't happen. Just a heads up, just so you know, because there's a lot of fantasy books that I wanted to get to. Not going to happen. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.